morning. We're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Brett, prayer?
Sure. Please pray with me. Dear Lord, we pray for those that protect and serve for our freedom, the week of independence. We ask for the safety of those traveling during this holiday weekend. We also ask that you help guide us to make the decisions in an effort for the people of Seneca County. Amen.
Amen. Roll call.
Commissioner Paradiso is absent. Commissioner Frankert,
Here.
Commissioner Busdecker,
Here.
Okay. I'll accept a motion to approve the digital audio video recordings of the previous board session from Thursday, June 26th, 2025.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second the motion.
Commissioner Busdecker,
Yes.
Commissioner Frankert,
Yes. Okay, appointment,
Do you
Dana?
have any appointments today?
Okay, Dana's not coming over.
He's supposed to be here at
Oh, 10:15.
10:15-ish
Okay, very good.
is what I
Okay.
told him.
Very good.
So,
Okay, we'll move into commissioner reports. Brett?
I can start first, but some of it has to do with you. But
Go ahead,
I
sir.
want to step on your toes.
Go ahead. Do yours and I'll follow.
Last week, we had the Traveling Vietnam Memorial in Fostoria. Bill spoke at that. Yeah, I think he did a great job speaking. It was a neat event. If you guys have never seen the Traveling Vietnam Memorial, it's the first time I've ever seen it. Not to mention they did a nice opening presentation for the event. Saturday, went to the EMS station dedication. Commissioner Paradiso spoke at that, and he also did well. He was the master of ceremony. We were just talking a few minutes ago. We had honor guard. Boy, those guys really put in the work, standing out there for an hour straight, 90-some degrees. Really appreciate those guys. Thank you so much. After that, I went to the Seneca County Radio Field Day out at Bascom. I don't know if anybody knows about Field Day and ham radios. There's an annual event that has been held since 1933. I think they said 31,000 radio guys gather every year to do that event for North America. They try to ping each other and try to communicate. They're actually, what's his name? It's Scott Bryant, it's the president. Deb and Denny Wilkinson are involved into that. And I sat with those guys a good part of the afternoon and listened to them try to reach out and communicate throughout North America. And they did actually have some conversation with somebody in Italy while I was there. So
oh, nice.
that's kind of neat. I hadn't had an experience like that before. So let's see. Additionally, over the last couple of days, had some discussions with law enforcement. Jail in Fostoria. I was out in Fostoria a little bit talking to law enforcement guys, the mayor, and just focusing on getting out to see some of those guys that I haven't done in the past. So I think it relatively puts us to date.
Very good. Follow up on what Brent was saying. So yes, last Thursday they had a traveling wall out of Fostoria. As we talk about volunteers, I mean, it was manned 24 hours from Thursday through Monday morning and stuff on it. And it's very humbling, you know, and I guess there's about 4 or 5 walls that travel all over the country and stuff with it. All volunteer, the delivery, the manning it and everything with it. So it's amazing that the support and everything with that. It was a great turnout for the event and stuff with it. Through and stuff during that time with it. So that's I actually took my neighbor lady, her husband, who was served in Vietnam, and every day he always said it was a gift coming home that many people he served with, you know, didn't make it home, and he always says I brought Vietnam home with me, and a couple, you know, things that he always, you know, talked about was that, you know, sometimes you know, nightmares, and also when he passed away with cancer and kind of blamed on being around for the Agent Orange and stuff with it. So he said that was kind of his way of bringing, you know, Vietnam home with him and stuff on it. So But yeah, very humbling on that part of it. Yeah, we've had some meetings, anything from, with the sheriff and stuff on some of the HVAC stuff out there. And then last night went to the Attica Fair Board meeting, worked with them on scheduling for our EMS, and then kind of gave them an update and stuff what's going on in the county. Lynn was there from EMS, did a great job with that. And so they're getting ready to kick their fair off August 5th. So prior to then, we have the Sangamon County Fair coming up. So a lot of great stuff coming in the county here. So bring us up to today. Okay, go over to County Administrator Report.
Just a couple of things. I've got Kathy Oliver, the director of JFS, had sent me a notice that she was honored by the Public Children's Services Association of Ohio at their executive meeting for over 2 decades of work to improve our projects to keep kids safe in Ohio. She was a trustee, and she was also on the Parents for Ohio future board member, legislative conference, and Dues committee work in addition to other state and ground county group work groups. They were extremely grateful, and she's grateful to have had that opportunity. And just so you're aware that Kathy's last day out there as director will be the 11th, which is next Friday. They are hosting a retirement party for Kathy out at Job and Family Services. I believe it begins at 2 p.m. So I think we have a proclamation for her next week. So also that FEDC has sent out the issue 1 round 40 application proposals for the town, sent the proposal sheets to the townships yesterday, with that needing to be to the engineer's office for information for the engineer's office by the end of July 31st, so that they can get the estimates from the engineer, and then everything will need to be in with their all of their resolutions and everything from the townships back to them by August 29th, so that they can get everything squared away, so we can actually have one cohesive application to the engineer's office by, I think it's mid-September, I believe it's due.
He wants it done,
Yeah.
so he can massage it.
So he can take a look at it and get everything ready for that.
And that'll be for 2026.
It's 2026, correct.
Yep.
And then we are currently working on the round 39. They are paving for that, and it wasn't technically an issue 1. The county came together and did it as a group project so that we could still get the pricing that we needed. And then I did have a EMS staff meeting on Tuesday, just to overhear, how things are going out there, and, some concerns out there. I believe, Bill, you were at
Yep.
that meeting as well. And then I had a site visit for the sheriff's office, the virtual attorney visitation room. The exterior is all complete, so they're working on the interior of the building. That structure, they're getting drywall up today. They're starting, I believe it was starting today. They had some of the electrical being, at least conduit and things being put in. So we're on track with that. So hopefully by the end of the month that will be complete. And we are just working with the sheriff's office to make sure that project is going smoothly. And we've had some rough issues out there. We had some rain a couple of weeks ago. It wasn't covered properly, so we have some extra incidents out there that we need to replace some drywall in the ceiling, a couple cameras and things, but they're taking care of all of that. So
The contractors.
yeah, the contractor's gonna take care of that for us. So, yeah, when they get the drywall in, the drywaller's just gonna go ahead and take care of cutting out the bad drywall in the hallway that it was in, and get some cameras put up. Be Safe's gonna do that, because those were the original cameras that Be Safe had put in. So, other than that, I don't have a whole lot more. I will do financial reporting next week, because I want to get a little bit more information as a 6-month where we are at halfway through the year. I do know that budgets That request has gone out from the auditor's office to have budgets in by mid-August. So maybe we can start a little earlier, getting through budgets. And I would like to maybe do budgets a little bit differently this year than we have in the past. I'm trying to work on a schedule to do, to get maybe some budget hearings, and maybe we'll have additional meetings for those. So we'll try to work on the schedule with that and try to get that going so we have the department heads or elected officials come in and present their budgets to us so that we can understand exactly why they need the money that they're requesting.
Oh, that sounds good.
That's good.
Yes, very good. Okay, any old business? New business, supplemental appropriations.
I have two, and I hate to say it, but I was waiting on one of the judges to come over for one of these, but we'll move forward. The first one is general fund contract services in the amount of $20,000. This is needed. We're in the middle of an audit of our telephone, internet, and data lines for savings opportunities. So I'm just trying to get some money in place to pay that contract there. And the other is the general fund for indigent counsel for $50,000. Judge Alt, I requested him to be here at 10:15, not knowing how long we were going to be this morning. But when he does come, I will still ask him to explain that. But it's basically we've increased the amount of money that is being paid to our indigent attorneys. It went from $70 to $75, I think, a year ago. We have never increased their budgeted amount for indigent counsel, so they're requesting that information. They're requesting this so that they can continue to pay the indigent counsel. We believe we get reimbursed. It's above 75%. I can't tell you. I think the last time I saw it was like 85%. And I'm not sure if that was the previous month or if it was the month before. So when Judge Alt gets here, maybe we can have him explain that a little bit more. But those are the two supplemental appropriations that I have.
Well, I'll make the motion to approve the supplemental appropriations.
I'll second.
Commissioner Bustecker?
Yes.
Commissioner Frankert?
Yes. Okay. Resolution.
Okay. Resolution authorizing the Seneca County Board of Commissioners to enter into an agreement contract with BT Transit Ohio LLC for car repair services on behalf of the Seneca County Department of Job and Family Services.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Just a little bit of information.
Yeah,
It's
close
for
up.
car repair services. It's for the PRC program. So when people need car repairs, they come to Job and Family, and if they're eligible, will receive car repairs through Job and Family Services.
Commissioner Bustecker?
Yes.
Commissioner Frankert?
Yes.
Resolution authorizing the Seneca County Board of Commissioners to enter into an agreement contract with Hertz Global Holdings Incorporated for car rental services on behalf of Seneca County Department of Job and Family Services.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion?
I think so.
Okay. Roll call.
Commissioner Bustecker?
Yes.
Commissioner Frankert?
Yes.
Resolution authorizing the Seneca County Board of Commissioners to sign a release of mortgage for Seneca County Land Utilization Corporation for the release of their loan from the Seneca County Commissioners for federal or fiscal year 2017.
So move.
Second. Can you explain that a little bit?
Basically what it is the Seneca County Land Utilization has a mortgage of $10 for a property that they are wanting to pay off the debt to the commissioners so that they can sell the property.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Not roll call?
Nope.
Commissioner Bustecker?
Yes.
Commissioner Frankert?
Yes.
I have a resolution declaring necessity for levy of taxes in excess of the $10 million limitation pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Sections 3709.29 and 5705.25. This is on behalf of the Seneca County General Health District. It's just, I believe it's just a renewal, or it's not to exceed 0.3 mils, and it will commence in 2026, first calendar, due in calendar year 2027.
Make the motion.
I'll second the motion. Roll call?
Commissioner Bustecker?
Yes.
Commissioner Prankert?
Yes.
I see that Judge All is here, and we've already gone through this, but if you would want to explain the indigent council request that you had for additional appropriation.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Commissioners. And I know you're all aware of the good news with the grant award we received for probation. So that amount helps to fund our probation services and pretrial services, so we're not coming and asking money from the commissioners. So it's very good that we received that amount of money. So thank you for your assistance with that process and receiving that grant award.
So with that grant, how much does that cover out of the budget stuff, would you say? For the
We don't come to you really for anything for
out of that?
probation.
That's all covered then?
Yeah.
That done. Okay, great. Great.
Yeah, so that covers salaries, vehicles, things like that. So that's a big thing, training and equipment
Okay.
for probation services, and because training's not cheap, neither are vehicles and things like that, so we want to give them all the tools they need to provide good supervision for individuals on community control. Okay? And we do some other programs in-house too, which are very good with probation services. We have like COG skills, things like that, that we can furnish in-house to individuals that may need it based on what the probation officer sees or thinks. And we make many other referrals too to other programs. So yeah, we definitely utilize those funds, and that is a big bonus to the county, so we can provide those hands-on supervision of individuals on community control, which I think is a great tool for the judge, because we meet with our probation. I know Judge Shuff does weekly as well, meets with probation officers, see how everybody's doing. That's on community control. Address any issues that we need to. So it's a great deal of oversight that we have on individuals. So the reason why I am here is to request supplemental appropriation of $50,000 for indigent counsel fees. Currently, we haven't increased, I think, the yearly budgeted amount for, I don't know, years. And as the commissioners are aware, we did increase and bump up the attorney cap, the hourly rate from 70 to 75. We are seeing higher bills, but at the same time, we do have a pretty good reimbursement rate from the Ohio Public Defender's Office. As you may or may not be aware, I believe in 2024, the fiscal year, it was an 85% reimbursement rate. So all those monies budgeted between that I share with Judge Shuff, we get reimbursed at 85%. As for, but I think fiscal year 2025 though was at 78%. I'm not sure what the new budget cycle it is yet. I tried finding it on the Ohio Public Defender's Office. I have not seen that. But when we have jury trials, I had one that lasted, I believe, 4 days this year. There was an extensive amount of video that council had to review, so it was a larger bill. And I've had multiple other jury trials this year, and we also have appellate cases. So realistically, every case that goes to a jury trial is going to be an appellate case. So we have that increase in the amount of indigent counsel fees that I see based on how much we have in our like jury trials and appeals, and so it's creating more expense. Plus, with the increase in the cap, we do see higher bills. But thankfully, we have a pretty healthy reimbursement rate than what it was at one point. I think at one point it was down to, well, I think it goes back further than that. It's been pretty healthy the last 5 years, about 73, 75. At 1 year, wasn't it down to like 30 or 40% or
I
something?
think it was in 2017 or 2018, it was like 42%.
Yeah, it was
or
pretty
something,
low.
Yeah.
It was very low, and thankfully, we're past that. And I think the state's budget's fairly healthy. So I'm anticipating at least a 73 to 75%, if not higher, reimbursement rate. So at least for all the funds expended by the county, we are getting that reimbursement rate. And I know we do try and address any issues that come up, say if there's a bill or something that's not approved. I've not received any emails in quite some time that there was any issues. So we try and catch it before we send them.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything recently, maybe some transcripts, but we know in that situation because we are paying them more than the standard rate that the state allows. And the commissioners, I believe, are aware of that as well. If not, you are now. But because transcripting is highly technical to do. So I do understand not getting reimbursed for that. But as far as paperwork not being filed correctly or signatures missing or anything, I don't believe in the last few months we've had any of those be rejected.
Yeah, it's been quite some time since I've seen anything about any bills being rejected. So we try and stay on top of that, scrutinize it before we send that bill over.
The auditor's office is also trying to scrutinize
Yeah.
that to make sure that all the signatures are there. And if we do get a rejection and we do know that the signature was on it, we can send it back to them and they will review it, and we generally get the money for reimbursement for
Yeah.
that.
So we try to make sure we get everything reimbursed that we can, because it is important that we get that reimbursement from the Ohio Public Defender's Office. So, any questions?
I think so.
No, very well.
Good explanation.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How is Pivot going? You guys took that over? Just a quick, I know you're not prepared.
Oh, on a Pivot update, I think
Yeah.
Pivot's going really well. We have, today, for example, I think Judge Shuff is covering for me, because right now I'm presiding over Pivot on the 4th floor, and Pivot's, anytime anybody wants to come, feel free to. We start at about 10:15, 10:30 for males, females around 11:30. But last week we had a couple graduations. This week we have 6 female admissions. And I think it's going really well because we have a base number of clients that we can really work on and take the time with and treat, and that want to be in Pivot. You know, and I think that's key to recovery. They have to be ready for recovery. You can't force it on them until they're ready. And I think when we screen and go through that process, I think we really pick out good candidates that want to come into Pivot. One of the admissions this week, I had her in court the other day. She was all smiles when I told her you got accepted into Pivot, because she wants help, she wants treatment, you know, and they realize you might have to go to inpatient first before you come back then to Pivot. But I think everything's going well. We have a great team and staff. Judges all work well together with the program. I think we see the merits of it. It's just, you know, you always are concerned with long-term funding, you know? But the commissioners have been great, and thank you for your support with Pivot. I know you've all been there, seen Pivot. I think everybody in the commissioner's office has been there and seen Pivot. Same as the city of Tiffin and the city of Fostoria. So it's great support I think we have, and I think there's a lot of value in the program.
Good.
So, yeah. Any other questions?
Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for your time, and
Thanks, Judge.
I'm going back over to Pivot.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
See
it.
ya.
Thank you.
Take care, Damon. I see our resilient treasurer's here, so, right, so Paul, you want to come up and say anything?
No, I've got some handouts for you guys, but I'll wait and give them to you after the meeting.
Okay, very good, so. Tax bills are due when?
They are due
The 18th.
18th, yep, very good. Good.
and they are coming back.
You're getting, yeah, good collection stuff on, okay.
Yep.
Okay, very good, very good. Anything else, Brent? Barb?
I don't have anything else.
I don't have anything
Go into
else.
public comment. State your name and,
My name's Chris Kurtz. I live on 2705 West County Road 90. I know normally you hold your responses until the end, but I would like, possibly a yes or a no, so I know which way to go on my question. Since your previous meeting, did any of you have the opportunity to visit the proposed site on County Road 90?
I was earlier, but even before the meeting stuff was, drove down and see the
I
driveway.
have not lately. I've been past
Some people do not realize how, they were stopped, but there's ground that has been partially cleared. It wasn't filtered or properly bagged or whatever, but it's cleared. And to see the size of it, this is like saying to somebody, have you ever seen Ohio State's football stadium? Oh, I know where it's at. But have you seen it? Have you been inside it? How huge it is? This is a very large facility. You know, a lot of his comments are that it's going to be free range, that it's a family farm. I do not believe that this is a family farm. If you see how big this layout is, it's crazy. And to stay at the top of the hill and see where this is positioned, and then to look across the field at the river, you know, it's, you know, interesting, because, you know, with the stuff that came in their packet from the state, where the, you know, protected runoff areas, it's, you know, it doesn't seem like it's far enough away. I'm not an engineer or anything, you know, I would like, you know, somebody else to take a look and see what, you know, just visually look. There's also a meeting that Mr. Boldy is having at Pepperly's house. Were you guys invited to this meeting on the 9th of July?
Yeah, he sent, yeah, I got an invitation on it.
We previously, on Sunday, had a meeting, a get-together, and there were 40-plus people that live on or around our area. Nobody has received a invitation to this meeting. So if you have a meeting and only have one side represented, you're obviously going to get the response that you want, desire. So we've also been, you know, requesting additional people to appear and, you know, be present at the July 15th, and advising them that they can also submit afterwards. There's a process of submitting afterwards. But, you know, everybody we've contacted in surrounding us, not in our, because we've also reached out to the surrounding townships. They're aware of the farm, but they're not aware of the spreading of manure. Once they learned that, they're like, oh, so they took it. I've already had one respond back and say, well, that is not any part of Clinton Township anymore. It was annexed into the city, so it was like perfect. Because that paperwork came from their permit packet where their projected spreading is. His comment to a resident was, we're not spreading it east, we're going to spread it west of the building. That's the biggest residential area of that road from 19 to 53. The majority of, you know, from the river to 53 is the majority of the residents. We had manure spread behind our homes at one point and was infestated with bugs. It was crazy. They paid to have it, everybody's house exterminated. You know, that was not a good thing when the Smith brothers did it to the farms behind us. But, you know, we're hoping that as much representation of the commissioners can be there on the 15th. But everybody we've talked to has been very open-minded about it. But their main comment is, it's okay as long as it's not in our area. And it's like, you should be in the area, you know, it's tough. But we're doing what we can. We're trying to get as much support and people looking out for it. So your support would be greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
Yep.
Brenda Kuhn, I also live on Township Road 90, which will be on the other side of 53. There is a projection of a building on Township Road 90, I think maybe in the future. I'm not sure if it's going to be built currently where the site is right now. But there's also going to be a lot of manure spread. And I want to tell you my experience with manure yesterday. So I'm a gardener. We get manure on our garden every now and then. And my husband had an opportunity to get some manure, so he went and, you know, it was a trailer, wasn't even as long, but a trailer about as long as these two tables. And it wasn't even half full. And he pulls it in, you know, by our compost pile. So what we do is we take this manure and we put it in our compost pile. We also have a field, about a 2 or 3 acre field. We mow. We gather up all the clippings. It's actually a hay field, but we keep it for our garden. And we put it on our compost pile. So this manure, when my husband pulled in with this trailer, instantly we had an enormous amount of flies and bugs. I mean, it was no more than 10 minutes. The whole car was, he pulled it with an edge. The whole car was full of flies. The whole trailer was full of flies. They were just swarms of like gnats that were like this big. So we ended up, you know, putting the manure in the compost pile, and then we covered up with all that grass clippings, and of course then the odor was gone, all the flies were gone. But my point is, I know there's an argument for, well, they have ways to get rid of the odor, and they have ways. Well, my question is, what are they gonna put on this? Is it gonna be a cancer-causing chemical that they're going to apply to this manure to get rid of the flies and get rid of the odor? And I have here all the proposed sites of all the fields, and I added it all up. Now, this is in the permit right now. I'm not even sure if this is all of them. Added up all the acreage, 1,338 acres. That's a lot of acres, and they have to clean this out 139 days. I don't know if every one of these acres is gonna have manure on them every 39 days. I'm not sure. However, there's a lot of properties here. Mohawk Nursery, right across the street. I go to Restoration Church here in town, and there's a field in between Restoration and another church. We are putting this right next to Tiffin. And anybody in their right mind, what are they thinking of putting all this highly concentrated manure against, all these homes? I don't think they're gonna be happy. I think it's something that we need to really, really be thinking about before it happens. Because we know what happened to Sunny Farms. Now it's a huge, huge pile, and now it's there and we gotta deal with it. Let's not have this happen on the other side of the county. So I would just appreciate you guys taking the time to look into it. Thank you.
When they say spread, can't they also inject? Wouldn't that be a possible better circumstances than just?
I think the process is, this is gonna be dry material, so. it's
Correct,
gonna-
right.
it
I'm
bark,
just
and
saying,
then-
the injection would actually hopefully reduce.
I think that we have to make it wet. Right.
No, they got spreader.
You can
It's just like the
inject
old-
dry. I don't know.
Yeah, the
I
old
don't
days we
remember
had,
anymore.
Brad, you dairy farm, you spread manure
Right.
back in your day and stuff,
Yep.
dry. on
But
it.
that was 100 acres, not 1,000.
Right, but when they culminate acres to spread, they're putting all the acres they have available. Not every acre is going to be, because they have, it's just like when we spray, we have setbacks you have to do, with that. So they're not, going to be respectful of that situation. As I said last week, Adams Township, a few miles from my house, we have several hog barns and stuff on that. And they have to maintain, kind of the setbacks and everything with this, and they've even taken this one step further with the permitting and stuff with it, so.
But they don't have wells, don't they have their water hauled in? Isn't there, one of the
No, it's all
areas-
wells and stuff
Okay.
on that, yeah,
'Cause I
it's
knew
all
there was
wells that,
one
yeah.
area that has hog barns, but they don't have wells, they have water hauled in because of possible contamination and stuff.
Oh,
Trying to find out which one
not
it is.
aware of that, but that's, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, next.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Richard Franklin. I'm a resident of Bloomville, Ohio, and I'm a city council member there. We had a council meeting last night, and we had a Board of Public Affairs members there. We are currently dealing with an issue with the EPA about our septic systems and our proposed, what we want to do and what we can do, what they allow us to do. And I was asked to come to this meeting and see if we could get some help from the commissioners to find a contact person in the state or the local government, somehow to get some information about, because the EPA says our proposed, what they told us we have to do. You have to do this with Attica. We have no option. But when they score it, whatever that meant, it didn't score high enough, so they're not going to give us any funds for it at all. Bloomville doesn't have $8 million, and going that kind of debt load will severely curtail, any improvements that we're trying to do to Bloomville. So we're trying to find, again, avenues through the state for grants, for any type of improvement funds that we could be eligible for. And we're not the only community that the EPA is doing this to. The fact of the matter is that we're all just separate. We haven't figured out how to contact each other, or who's doing what, or who's being affected by this. But I can guarantee you, we're not the only community that the EPA is doing this to. So my question to you, my request to you today is, we have a meeting on July the 16th, a council meeting, and I could have those Board of Public Affairs members there. If one or both or all three of you could come there and get an idea, speak to us about what we're trying to accomplish, that would be a great help.
So just step up, so we had, so Tabitha had reached out to Commissioner Paradiso, and so then Brent, he knows the mayor very well, so he's
Yeah.
been in contact, so we've got some avenues. So
Yeah,
we can
I
give
spoke
update.
with Mayor Dave this morning.
Oh,
and I was
okay.
gonna get back with Tabitha, because she had sent the message to Tony after this meeting, and I was going to go out and see Levi today.
Got it.
And I was aware of stuff a few months ago
Yeah.
in the discussion, but it didn't seem that there was a financial issue like is.
Well, a few months ago, it wasn't.
Yeah,
The
so-
EPA was still, we were still under the impression the EPA was going to give us a loan and a loan, principal loan forgiveness that would take up a vast majority of that $7 or $8 million. But now, when the Board of Public Affairs got with their attorney who deals with the EPA, their response was, your project doesn't score high enough, you'll receive no funds.
Yeah.
That's the first time we've heard that, and now we're at this point.
And
And I don't know if those
we-
guys didn't think I could get here in time or whatever, but, it was serious enough a situation that Mayor Albo, Tabitha, and myself,
Yeah.
within 12 hours, are standing in front of you saying,
Sure.
I need
Yeah.
some help.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, and that's where I think also there's, and I think Brent kind of talked to the mayor too a little bit about, part of, the villages, they have like a mayor's consortium. We have county commissioner association, stuff like that, and that's where maybe reaching out to them to see what other villages
Yeah,
have
he and
done,
I
update
he and I
stuff
talked
like that.
about that this
Yeah.
morning, to get some municipal mayors association or something like
yeah.
that.
So to
And
kind of
then-
get some insight for the villages and stuff too with that. There's some avenues, I think, Brent's gonna reach out, stuff on that. There's GLCAP, we have, some of our own grants that we'll be able to help, submit things with that also. So, yeah, but no, we
Okay.
got, and
I got
we'll
some
do what we
phone
do
calls
help.
to make after this meeting.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And in reference to the chicken farm that is being discussed, my primary job is a real estate appraiser. And I appraise in Wyandotte County, Crawford County, all over Northwest Ohio. And, south of Upper Sandusky, I think it's Blue Rue, maybe, right in that area, there's a little village there, and they have a very large chicken operation. And they, much like what this lady was saying, they've had to deal with green flies infestation, water contamination, the location of these types of facilities needs to be really seriously considered because of, again, you're talking about, what, 80,000 chickens?
130,000.
130,000 chickens
A
giving you a
family
half an
farm.
ounce of manure a day. Okay, that's 65,000 ounces. That's a lot of weight. Multiply that by 30 days, multiply it by 100 days. You could have 800 acres to spread that on, but sooner or later, you're gonna get that up so high that the ground ain't gonna be able to take it. They're gonna have to find someplace else to do it. That chicken farm could be there for 20 years. Now think about what not only the landowners, what their quality of life is gonna be affected, because again, they wanna do what they want to do on their land. So when considering this, those things need to have a little bit more oomph to them. So especially from, again, a guy like myself who deals with property values, because there's no way if there's an odor on something that big that these people's property will not be affected.
Value-wise.
Thank you.
Absolutely, yes. It's going to take a hit. There's no way around it. Because any potential buyer on the wrong day walks in there, and you were talking about hog farms or the dump over by Fostoria, all those figure into my ability to come up with a value for a property. And I have to understand, you know, even going back further in time, seeing what sold before, what sold during, what has sold after, to see what kind of effect that new entity has done, that new external influence has done. And there's going to be a lot of really upset people. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
With his values and stuff, a lot of us are already in the process of this, of having appraisals, well testing, and one person not in our county would not even touch it, because he says that's gonna go to litigation. And it's like, oh, come on, you know, all we did was ask for the true current market value prior to this. And they're like, no, they won't do it.
And Brent, you said you brought in some manure for your garden or something on it, and you put it on like a compost pile? Did you put a liner down before you put it on a pile?
No.
Are they gonna put liners down before they?
Well, they'll be in the barn and stuff, it'd be scattered across. I just wanted to verify.
Because when,
Okay. Very good. That's, okay. Meeting adjourned.